Hello everyone, so glad you could join me again today. This is video 2 of the Lighthouse with the Turbulent Sea, and you can see the big waves, the rocks, the lighthouse on a craggy, dangerous area for ships, and of course the clouds in the sky. Go ahead and peel this. We've already finished this side, and now we're on video 2. As always, please subscribe. It really helps us content creators channels. It's 100% free, no cost to you. We're gonna start with the letter A. Hit the bell notification only if you want to be notified when I release a video. Hit the thumbs up to show that you approve of the video, and leave a comment, suggestions, ideals, questions. This is going to be one of them that I have a better outcome if I do it the other way. Yeah, sometimes. Okay. Sorry about this. I have to fix it. Okay, there we go. And please make it 7 words or more. Otherwise, YouTube does not credit or put our videos forward. They don't recognize the engagement of our viewers. Yeah, so many rules. And as always, I hope everyone is doing well, or as well as can be expected. Now, on my last video, I was talking about finances, and I wanted to mention, only through experience of doing this, that credit cards can lead to a financial disaster and spiral if they are not used appropriately. Many people think, oh, I can buy it now on credit and then I can pay for it when I can afford it. That is not a good way to use credit cards. The finance fee alone on them is highway robbery. If you want to build credit using them, which you can build a credit score. You only use them knowing that you have the money and you pay them off every single month. Otherwise, it's a financial trap, just like payday loans are. They are not really designed to help you. They are designed to make the stockholders, more stockholders, quick money because of the cost of the financing. They are literally a trap, and they entrap the poor and can totally destroy your credit. They can destroy your life even, because they are highly expensive. They have to be used with a lot of restraint and care. And how do I know this? So I never owned a credit card until I was in my late 20s. And I worked. I worked full time. I had young kids. And I was making pretty good money. And I started getting credit cards. Well, there was a lot of turbulence in my personal life. And I ended up not working. I ended up having handicapped kids that were having severe health problems, had to leave work to take care of them. And I was very unhappy, and I was using the credit cards to buy stuff to make myself feel better. And before I knew it, I ended up in a situation where I couldn't afford to make the payments. They went into collections. They ended up I'm looking for the right word, where they put them into the courthouses. And here in New York State, if you owe on them, and they've been, judgment, that's what it's called. They put judgments against you where it goes in the courthouse. Them judgments last 21 years. They can claim up to 21 years on those judgments. And then I found out a trick that if you go to the closest county courthouse of where you live, where the judgments was placed, and you get copies of them, you call the creditors, the numbers should be on there, and you talk to them. A lot of times you can get the judgment way lowered, but you have to pay, like only 3 payments are paid off entirely, which is something I had done. It is a horrible downward spiral, them credit card companies are. They were designed to be used by the extremely rich. They are a financial trap to the extremely poor. And they can only be used to build your credit if you are very, very careful how you use them. Very careful. So I did not own a credit card again until my very late 40s. And I started building my credit. And now I use them very carefully. I do not spend anything that I cannot afford to pay off every single month. And it takes a lot of control, which I have now being older. So I wanted to mention that because many, many people get in the trap of them. And it just ruins their lives. Just absolutely ruins their life. So there's no party worth getting in bed with a credit card. There is no vacation worth getting in bed with credit cards. Like I said, do not use the card unless you know you can pay it back the same month that you got it. Never pay finance fees on it. In fact, if you do it right, you'll get bonus points and they'll be paying you to use them. Now, is it a lot of money? No. No, it takes a lot to build bonus points. But they are great for an extreme emergency. But again, only if you know you can pay them off. Otherwise, they're a trap. Just like lottery. It'll suck you under, and you'll never get out of them what's put into them. just like lottery tickets are like that, and gambling. It took me 20 years, I think, right? 30, 40, 50, darn near 20 years before I ever had a credit card again, because of my unknowing what kind of trap they are. When you grow up extremely poor, you don't have any financial experience at all. And it is just so easy for them companies, because they don't care. That's what they're out to do. They're out to make money. Let's see. I have to add some more drills to my tray. I don't have enough. This is a heavily used color at this point. There we go. Now I have some drills. All right. But I have found that by careful use, always making sure you can pay them off, building a proof that you can control your spending habit, and that you have credit lines available to you that you don't use, it can definitely build your credit score. So, but with lots of control. You have to really control it. In fact, a lot of mortgage companies like seeing people own credit cards and have them for several years to show that, yes, they can have a line of credit. They don't max out their credit, yet they still manage to keep control of paying their debts. So, and it makes them feel that you know how to control spending and what's important. So, that's how a really old friend turned around and got mortgage for houses that she didn't have any credit cards, and she ended up having to get a few and show that she could control and manage spending. So, all right, gonna go to the smaller stylist to do these. And it's really hard when you grow up extremely poor and you were never taught about money and credit and learning to control expenditures and whatnot, and you were never given allowances, and it just goes on and on. You have a disadvantage. You don't know what you're doing. You don't realize the particular predicament that you're putting yourself in. This drill is got a problem with the bottom of it. So, okay, there we go. Had some kind of double edging on the bottom. I had to throw it away. And this is video, I hope I said video 2 of the Lighthouse that we're working on. I just wish they taught better finances and realities of finances in schools. In fact, a lot of schools don't even teach you how to work a checkbook or how to buy a house or, any of it. And a lot of kids are really at disadvantages. So so they don't know how to do savings. They don't know how to control their money expenditures. And all right, I think we're done with the letter A. I'm not seeing anymore. Next, we're going to go to U. Okay. And I think I'm going to try using the bigger stylus for some of this. Okay. I see 5 right there. And a line of 4. Okay. All right. Now we got the work on some singulars here. One of the tricks I use also with my credit cards is I leave most of them at home. If you don't have them, you can't use them. If you can't use them, you can't get yourself in debt. Another awesome thing that credit cards offer is loans. Like if you're careful and you use on how you use a credit card, a lot of them will start giving finance-free loans. And then if you need a short-term loan, you only pay the percentage for taking out the loan, which is usually a 4 or 5%. But they give you a period of time that you must pay it back by, or they slap finance fees on it. Some of them will even start at the beginning of the loan rather than what you owe at that point. So you have to really have a financial plan and stick to it, which is basically budgeting, and stick to it. And then you don't even have to go to a bank to get a loan. You can do it right through the cards. Banks don't like me. I'm a loan risk. Just ask them. I don't make enough money to qualify for bank loans. So I only qualify for loans from my credit card, depending on what kind of credit card I have and what type they offer me. And so I've only done it a few times. Most of the time I don't need a loan. I don't want a loan. But if I happen to need one, like when my car one time, this was like 6 years ago, even though I buy beaters, the frame ended up rotting through. And I'll admit, I was at the point I was just so sick and tired of beaters and going to the garage and them needing fixed all the time. And I wanted to get something that was somewhat better. My one friend some months ago, almost a year before that, had offered to co-sign on a loan at the bank for me because I was ineligible without a co-signer. And then she turned around and ditched me on it. I mean, I understand she had helped out her niece. She took out another vehicle loan herself and some other things, but it really hurt. Well, then I had an ability to buy a 7-year-old vehicle with 38,000 original miles on it. An old man had bought it, and then he passed away. Well, I took out a $7,000 loan on one of my cards with the intent to pay it back in 1 year, because that's how long of a term they gave me that was finance free. All I had to do was pay the 4% fee on the loan as one chunk. And I did it. I paid it all back, and I only paid like $250 finance fees to get that loan. We're going to do the letter F now, which was a better finance fee than any bank would have gave me. And she even said that. And I was like, yep. So I've used them to do that. In fact, most credit cards, they don't make any money off me unless they offer me something worthwhile. So other than that, I have no interest on taking any money out. All right, must be only just that one. So we'll fill in some S up here. Whoops, I thought I had it. Apparently I didn't. And although I told her she did do me a favor by refusing to co-sign, it really hurt my feelings that she didn't. And she turned me down. And then if that wasn't enough, what hurt even more is she felt guilty and kept trying to find me another vehicle, another junker, basically, in my opinion. Because if you get in a car for only $1,000, you can bet there's something wrong with it. And it needs work on it. And then I was like, why are you sending me these? I ain't got the money to buy one of these. And she was like, well, I'll loan you some money, of course, with interest back. And all I could think is, that was so mean. That was so mean to do that. I mean, what's your opinion? Like, so you stated you were willing to co-sign for me for free and take that risk. But then 9 months later, you refused to co-sign and you're willing to lend me money. But I have to pay finance fees on that money. I have to pay interest. That's what she said. I had to pay her back with some interest. Like, that's mean. Like, wow. And I ended up not needing her help at all. I found another way that was better. And like I said, my finance fee was only $250 for $7,000. So, and I managed to buy that vehicle. And the only reason why I took out $7,000 as a loan rather than just $5,000, because the vehicle cost me $5,000, was I had to pay sales tax. I had to pay for the registration, and I had to pay for plates, and I had to pay for inspection. There you go. Yeah. So I knew I had to pay for all this extra stuff, and it allowed me to pay for everything. And whatever I didn't spend on the vehicle, I just kept it and made it for payments back. I did a budget to make sure I paid it back before the year was up. It might have been an 18-month or a 14 months or something like that loan. Interest rate free with only 4% interest rate for right off the top. Yeah. And I paid for it. But yeah, she really hurt my feelings doing that. We're not quite as close as we used to be. Yeah. And then she will drink. And she got a truck. Now, I'm known to buy furniture or other things and not have no way to transport it. And one night when we were having dinner together, she was like, yeah, now I got my truck. I don't have to borrow my brother's. And if you need to, get some furniture, just let me know. I know it's not very often. Well, then I needed to get some furniture. And I called her up, and she jumped up one side of me and down the other. Like, wow. Like, she was mean about it. Like, where do I get off thinking that she had the time or the energy, or she wasn't going to loan me the truck outright. And I was shocked, to say the least, because we missed the letter U. I'm going to hijack it. That wasn't what she was saying to me. And I didn't think about anything about the fact that she was drinking, because she's known to have a drink every night, several. And thereafter, several times when I needed a truck, even for my son, I made him pay for a U-Haul, a rental, to do anything with. And then it's been several years since then recently, and I needed to get a chair because I need a lift assist, I think they call it. Okay, I don't see any more C's, so we're going to go to the letter Y. Yeah, I need a new lift chair, and the one I got for free broke. And I asked about, her help, and she was very, very reluctant. And I managed to get a lift chair for only $90. That's not bad. Things aren't selling. I'm going to be honest. Even in my store, like, everybody's having financial problems, it seems. And finally, because it became such a big deal about it, a big deal, I was like, oh, and by the way, I managed to, we're managing as far as the delivery. So my two sons helped me go get it. And we managed to get it in my little small hatchback. most of the way. The rest of it just stuck out. And I drove with the door open with it sticking out for about a couple of miles to get it to my house. And then my sons helped bring it in. Yeah. I was like, F it, you know, screw it. It's going to be such a big deal. And I'm tired of it. I'm just tired of it. So, tired of asking, tired of begging. And it becomes such a big deal. So, and to be honest, I have a really good driving history. I never got my license till I was in my early 30s. I really appreciate the privilege of driving. I'm a bit more of following the speed limit. I'm very aware that most accidents happen by people not paying attention. I don't text and drive, and it wasn't like I was asking her to do it for free. I was going to pay for any mileage and other things, and it was like, it just became a headache. That's why for the past, I don't know, 6 years, whenever I need a vehicle to haul stuff, I go rent a U-Haul. I don't even bother to ask her because she seems to take offense to it, and haven't had dinner with her in over a year and a half now. I stopped going to dinners because I didn't realize that when she drinks, she makes false promises. And that's painful. It's like being lied to. I'm not responsible to what you say when you drink. Nobody should be responsible. You can only be responsible for yourself. And you shouldn't make false claims to people. So, I've never been a fan of people who drink anyways. They get mean, and they lie, and they don't watch what they're saying, and then to do things like that. So, she kind of like, especially getting yelled at. I do not like being yelled at all. Especially when I'm being yelled at for asking for something that when you said that you would allow it. That's just mean. Mean. I don't care how new your vehicle is. And if that's an excuse you use that you don't want anyone to borrow it. She lets her brother borrow it and her sister-in-law, which, by the way, it got some damage when the sister-in-law had borrowed it. Was it any fault of her own? I don't know. I don't care. All I could think was, oh, well, so much for, I'm not going to lend it out. It might get damaged. Okay, whatever. Whatever. I just won't ask for help. I'll pay for my own. I sincerely resent that. I do. I don't know about anyone else. Just like the rhetorical question, how are you? And they're walking away. Why are you asking how I am? You don't care. That's a rhetorical question. You don't even care. You're not going to stick around. Why say that? Now, if you just say, hi, you know, that's fine. But to say, how are you? You don't care. Why are you asking? I hate that rhetorical stuff. And why would you offer something you have no intentions on following through? Like, oh, I would have gave you a ride if you asked. And then turn around and never give them a ride. Or if they asked, you're always saying no. Why did you offer? Why? I know, you can hear that. I find that very insulting because some people really need that help. Really, really need that help. I remember one time, so again, I've always been poor. I had 4 children whose fathers did not pay child support. And what are you going to do when they work on the table and they make sure they don't have to pay it because there's no paycheck or no proof of money? Huh? Yeah. So, hey, these were losers. Okay. That's the only thing I was guilty of, is choosing losers. It wasn't my kids' fault. They were losers. So, during the summer, when the kids weren't in school and not getting free lunches, I couldn't afford to feed them that well. So, I would go to the food pantries. Well, by then, I always had a junker I was driving, and I always made sure I had the cheapest insurance possible. Okay, so my story, let's see. So I was at the pantry, and I was getting food, and summers were always a struggle. And there was this woman with this guy, and he was like, I can't take all this food. I have no transportation, he goes. And I go, well, I have a vehicle. I go, do you live in town? And they watched me talk to him. And he was like, yeah. And he told me where he lived. I go, well, gosh, that ain't that far from where I live. I go, I'm willing to give you a ride. I'll take all the food that they give you and give you a ride there. And the lady was absolutely stunned. She looked at me. She goes, that is the nicest thing I ever seen anyone do. She goes, is there something that we can give you that normally we don't have on our list? And I was like, yeah. I go, I could do with some. I go, I got 4 kids, and I could use some laundry soap. I go, I can't afford to buy anymore, and I'm out. They gave me this great big bottle of laundry soap, brand name. Yep. Letter I will be next. And I was like, oh, thank you so much. And at the time, one of those great big brand name laundry soaps were like $20. I didn't even have $20 to really budget it out to buy one. And they gave it to me. So when you help out others, I believe that karma gives back to you and they help you. And what has karma given to my friend? Well, kind of, sort of my friend. Well, I bet you she's lonely. She's alone a lot. Yeah. And that's her fault. Because she would invite me to dinner after like the 3rd or 4th time she stopped inviting me. And it's like, yeah, whatever. I don't need to be yelled at anyways or lied to anymore. Yeah. So, yeah, that's my stories. Because sometimes, yeah, I have to watch myself. I'll try to be too generous. I have to step back and be like, you know what? This person doesn't need this kind of help, or this person could be lying. Yeah, I've been lied to before too. That kind of help. So, yeah, now I'm very cautious about buying stuff. If I can get away with it, it goes inside my vehicle or on top of my vehicle. And at worst, if I have to, I will rent a U-Haul and pay to drive myself to haul something. Yep. It just, I don't know. I grew up in a world where people tried to help each other. And nowadays, it just seems like everybody's just mean. And even worse, don't say you'll do something that you will never do. Don't pretend or ask rhetorical questions when you don't even care. I missed a T over here. I'm going to hijack that. Because it's not right to let down someone or disappoint someone when you don't. And I missed an L right there. Hijack one of those. Or either that was the only L, I'm not sure. So yeah, that's my lecture of the day about proper etiquette. Don't make promises you're not willing to keep. Don't offer something that you're not willing to give. And don't pretend that you care or say something as if you care when you obviously don't. How are you? To many of those that ask me that, and they're actually asking how I am, usually my answer is, well, I'm alive. So, whoops, one too many. All right, that's 7 again. At least that's what I was taught about proper etiquette. And that way you don't hurt, disappoint, or do something that you're not supposed to. Okay. For a minute there, I thought I was hearing things. I'm hearing this. Come to find out, it's my cat. He's laying next to me and he's purring. So we're near the end. So if you would, please subscribe. It really helps out the channel. Help monetize me, make it so I can actually earn an income, even buy a small one. These days and ages, I just put together all the little bits I can to survive. And I want to say how much I really appreciate you watching. And I hope everyone has enjoyed it. Hopefully on the next one, I'll be even quieter. And if you have friends, please appreciate them. Take care of how you treat them. It's very hard to make friends. And again, until next time, see you then.